William Shakespeare once said, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny. What then controls destiny? It is ourselves." I was a girl with a dream as big as the blue open sky that I saw as I grazed the cattle. Born in rural village in a country then known as Rhodesia, where the system did not provide much of an education, and rural people felt the disparities that come with illiteracy. Unfortunately, it was a double-edged sword for the rural girls and women. It was also a time when poverty and cultural norms dictated that girls marry young, had babies when they were children themselves, and lived in the darkness of illiteracy. So that shaped the generations before me. That was the story of my great-grandmother, the story of my grandmother, the story of my mother. Women who had married young before they defined the life they wanted for themselves. A time when men left the village to work in the mines and factories. They wrote letters back home, letters to women who could not read them. One day, my Aunt Chida asked me to accompany her to find someone who could read a letter for her. We found a young man seated by the river, a place where women gather to fetch water. By the time we returned back home, everybody in the village knew the contents of her letter. This profoundly affected me and made me swear that no one was ever going to read my letter. I was determined to right the wrongs of these generations and tear down barriers for girls and women. I had a dream for an education. Under the shade of a musasa tree, deep in secrecy, my brother taught me how to read and write, and a light began to shine on my destiny. I went to school briefly. Unfortunately, I married young. By 18 years of age, I had 3 children without a high school diploma. I was a child myself. And that might have been the end of my story, but it wasn't. I never gave up on education. Several years later, pregnant with my 4th child, a woman from Heifer International, Jola, came to my village. She asked me, "What are your goals in life? What are your hopes?" No one had ever asked me that before. She said, "Tererai, if you desire your dreams, they are achievable." In my language, it means tinogona. It is achievable. Then my mother said, "Tererai, if you believe in this dream of getting an education, you are not only defining who you are also defining everything, every life that comes out of your womb. You are also defining generations to come. It's what you desire to become that will change what you see." As our ancestors' ways, when a child is born, we bury the umbilical cord deep in the earth, near the mother's heart, with the belief that wherever the child goes later in life, the umbilical cord will always remind the child of their birthplace. So my mother said, "Tererai, write down your dreams and bury them in a safe place. Wherever you go, whatever happens to you, how difficult life becomes, the dreams will always remind you of their importance." So I wrote down my 4 dreams. First, I want to go to America Second, I want to get a bachelor's degree. Third, I want to get a master's degree. Fourth, I want to get a PhD. I was ready to bury my dreams. Then my mother said, your dreams will have greater meaning if they are connected to your own community. Your dreams will have greater meaning. I paused, and then I wrote my fifth dream: to improve the lives of women and girls in my community. My mother realized someone in the family, someone in this community needed to break the cycle, the vicious cycle of poverty that forces the poor to make drastic decisions. Unfortunately, drastic decisions that turn and marginalize girls, sealing their fate to poverty. I sealed my dreams and placed them in an old metal can, and I buried them under the rock where I used to graze cattle. The rock became my dream keeper while I worked. Almost 20 years later, from the very day I buried my dreams, I achieved my PhD. I remember walking to the podium to receive that paper. I felt like a lawyer who had rested her case to the world. If we give opportunities to those who are marginalized and torn down by social ills of our time, we can make this world a better place. If we only believe in their aspirations, if we only believe in their dreams, if we give them opportunity. Now I have the PhD. But how on earth was I going to fulfill my fifth dream, the dream of giving back to my community, without a penny to my name, but determination to architect a new way of life for my village? I was willing to sell T-shirts to rebuild a school. And I even had a name for that T-shirt, Tinogona. It is achievable. But I only sold 20 T-shirts, and only to my friends. Then I got a phone call, the most important phone call of my life, a call from Oprah Winfrey. And she gave 1.5 million to build the school. Brick by brick, with the help of the Ministry of Education of Zimbabwe, the Rural District Council, the teachers, the parents, the community, Save the Children, and my hero Oprah Winfrey, the power of many changed the tide. As I stand here in front of you, we have completed that school. Nearly 4,000 children receive quality education and getting an early start on learning. 125 teachers have been trained, and the children are no longer sitting in a classroom where the ceiling opened to the blue sky. Ladies and gentlemen, it is beautiful when we place upon ourselves to be the instrument for change and contribute toward a better world. As the global leaders, I urge you. Many people have said to me, Tererai, you must be an extraordinary individual. And I turn and I say, no, I'm just a girl from a tiny village in Zimbabwe. But I was given an opportunity to redesign the blueprint of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater education than the realization that we have a role to architect a better world, to make a difference, if only we believe. You are the architects for a better world. You are the leaders who hold the power. You can open doors for millions of African girls and boys. You can open doors for millions of individuals. You hold the power to give Africa the tools to build a better life. There is potential in the world. There is potential in developing countries. What we lack is opportunities. What we lack is opportunities. Would you mind to repeat and say Tinogona? Tinogona. It is achievable. Thank you.